Having boundaries is very important. A lot of times we allow ourselves to fall into old patterns. There's a way that I could stop this from happening again. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Samantha Bailey. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the importance of boundaries and protecting your mental health. I wanted to give you a little tidbit, if you would say, where I've been and everything. So I've been going through a little bit of a struggle bus. I go through periods of doing really good at being consistent, and then periods of falling down, and that's speaking of mental health, that's a thing that's been a struggle for me. I have shifted my mindset a lot, and so I think that I am going to be able to actually be consistent, but obviously I'm giving myself grace, when at times where I do fall down, and I just pick myself back up instead of getting in my head spiraling and then having that major period of time where I'm like, oh, and just beating myself up about not staying consistent. I am realizing that it's okay to mess up and not letting it be such a big deal. So yes, I do plan on being consistent with content. This is the first time I've filmed in a while, at least a couple months. So I do apologize for that, but I do plan on becoming consistent again and actually uploading, because I think I have a lot of valuable information that I want to share with you guys. So yeah, I do also want to let you know that I'm going to be looking down every now and again, because I did create some topic points so I can stay very clear and concise throughout this video. So I just wanted to let you know that as well. So let's jump into it. So first topic is going to be what are boundaries and why they are important. Basically, boundaries is just something that you set to stay true to yourself and to not let anything go against that. So that just basically means that if there's something that's disturbing, like your inner peace and who you are, and making you kind of act different because of that situation, it's just knowing that, okay, this is something I don't want, and learning how to communicate that. So that's very important to have. A lot of times we allow ourselves to fall into certain things, old patterns, which happens, but a lot of the times we don't realize, like, okay, there's a way that I could stop this from happening again. So having boundaries is very important because it keeps you from repeating those same mistakes and holding true to your inner peace and your inner self. So that is why boundaries are important. And then I want to kind of talk about the impact of boundaries on mental health. When you don't have proper boundaries, you allow yourself to fall back into old cycles. And so that means that you allow yourself to get back into negative thought patterns and to really get in your head. So for me, I really have worked hard on having proper boundaries, because I realized that I was behaving a certain way that I really didn't like. And it was someone that I used to be, because I didn't have those boundaries at that time. And so that's why I was consistently allowing myself to let those things back in and to allow myself to behave a certain way, because I didn't have those proper boundaries. And so I think that not having proper boundaries can be so damaging. And so now I want to kind of talk about ways to set up and communicate boundaries with other people. One of the biggest things that I wanted to have a boundary for was not allowing drama into my life. So that meant that I had to cut off some of the closest people, closest friends that I had in my life, and even my own brother, because I didn't want to disturb my inner peace anymore. And I knew that I would have to hurt some people in order to do that, which is unfortunate, but it's just something that you have to do. First thing would be, what I would say, is to establish the things in your life that you would want to change. And then I would start to write down what kind of scenarios, what people, like what things disturb your inner peace and make you not stay true to yourself, which is going to be so hard to write that down and acknowledge it, and be like, wow, like It's so different than someone else just saying it versus you being like addressing it head on. But it's going to be so helpful for you because you're going to see it very clearly yourself, and you're going to be like, okay, so these are the things that need to change. And then when it comes to like people, your next step is going to be communicating those boundaries. Being like, okay, these are things that I'm not willing to allow into my life anymore. And if you are not willing to help with that and you are going to keep adding to it, then we may need to take a step back or figure some things out. I had a best friend that we were best friends for years, and I repeatedly over the last year or so had been like, this is something I don't like. I want us to address it. And obviously realizing that not everything is the other person. Sometimes it's you and it's how you react. So you have to pay attention to that as well. But also being like, I'm not okay with this and I need to change. And if that person consistently just kind of dismisses that and kind of like gaslights you, then it may be time to be like, maybe this is someone that I don't want in my life anymore. And it sucks. Trust me, I can hands down be the first person to be like, that's not something that I wanted. You know, like we were friends for 8 years and the last thing I wanted to do was end it. But my inner peace is so important and yours should be too. So just realize that you may have to make those decisions and know that there are people out there that will support you. So don't stress out. God, I'm not trying to get spiritual, but God, whoever you believe in, whatever, has a plan for you and your life. And so this may be a stressful period for you, but it's going to get better. So do not worry. Another thing is going over examples of healthy boundaries in different relationships. So for me, some of the relationships I've had, like for example with my fiance, the very first thing I did was address like this is what is important to me, this is what I'm not willing to deal with. And so that's very hard to do because the other person obviously is like, okay, so I have a standard that I have to live up to. But I say, do not worry about other people. Do not let your standards down just because you don't want to upset other people. Because again, the only thing that's going to get you to where you need to be is setting these healthy boundaries and holding true to that and to yourself. So it's just proper communication, assessing the situation, being like, how many times have I said that this is an issue and things haven't changed? Maybe looking at how you said certain things and thinking about maybe could I have said it differently, and just doing what feels right. So if in a certain thing you're like, okay, well, I don't want to end this friendship or this relationship, whatever, but something in me is just like, I know this is going to be best for me, then that's what you're going to have to do. Next topic I would like to talk about is overcoming challenges and enforcing boundaries. So there are going to be situations where the person or whatever is going to accept those boundaries and acknowledge them and keep them in mind. And then there's going to be situations where that person's going to deflect and kind of put it on you. All I could really say to that is there's only so many times that you could get the same point across. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many times you can be like, this is what I need, and you're not doing that, and I've expressed this to you, and you still don't see that as something that needs to change. And so, like I said, you're gonna have to make the tough decisions, or you're gonna have to take a break. Whatever you need to do, you just do it. Because the more time you spend being like, oh, should I, you are putting yourself in a situation where you're just hurting yourself more and more. That ultimately was what I was doing in that friendship, and just prolonging the inevitable. The friendship, yes, there was good moments, and the problem for me was that I was holding on to those memories that we used to have, and thinking, oh, if only. And if you relate to that, and you have expressed yourself over and over and over again, and nothing changes, and they deflect, please just allow yourself to grieve either before or after. But for me, it's better before, because if you allow yourself to grieve before you even end it, and then when you do it, you'll be like, okay, I knew that was a good situation, I reflected on it, I let myself grieve it, and now it's time to move on. And honestly, that is what helped me, but I know everyone is different. Next topic I would like to talk about is personal stories of the benefits of boundaries. Having these boundaries and realizing, like, okay, these are things that I don't want, it has only allowed me to excel in my life in multiple ways, because I realized that I will not settle for less, and that nothing is more important than protecting my peace. So as much as it hurt to shed all these things and let go of certain people, I would not change a thing. And I really had to do that within, especially this last 3 months, of letting go longtime friendships that I had, because I felt like they were not adding value to my life in any way. I felt like I was only stressing about it. I was giving in the energy, but it wasn't being reciprocated. I felt like I had moved leaps and bounds ahead of these people. And I'm not saying that, oh, if you think that you're in a better situation, that you shouldn't be friends with people that are not. I'm saying, though, that I've done a lot to change in my life, especially this last year, and realizing how I've tried to help these people, and I've tried to be understanding, and I've tried to look at, like, maybe what I'm doing. I realized that no amount of effort I could put in was going to save that relationship. It was already gone, because their values didn't line up with mine. And so it really does suck, but after you've grieved and everything, it feels so much better, because you think nothing will get in my way of where I need to be. And it's so good to have that, and to have such a strong belief in yourself, and that you can overcome anything, and realizing that, boundaries are so important. And when you actually have this set up, and you have them set up for yourself, and you just feel incredible after. You're like, I know what is true to me, and I know that I can't let anything go against that. So that is awesome. Last thing I would like to talk about is resources for learning more about boundaries. So there are like apps and stuff I'm sure that you could get. I have spent so much time downloading apps, experimenting and stuff. So I think I'm gonna go through and look and see if I have anything that would be helpful for that. But there are great ways to learn more about this, like YouTube, courses like it's called Udemy. I love this. You can either buy courses individually, or you can pay for a premium plan, which is what I do, because it's so much cheaper than buying these courses individually on there. But their courses are so full out, like so extensive, and there's so many resources that come with it, and I really think that would be your best benefit if you really want to deep dive. But if you just want to start learning about it, the basics, then I definitely would say look up some videos on YouTube. I can give you some channels that I have watched. One of them is, I think her name's, I don't know how to say it, but I think it's Tom Carr. And then another person would probably be Jay Shetty. He does a lot of videos interviewing like celebrities and athletes and stuff, and undercovering their stories, and they go into topics like that. So he's another good one. Another person would be Fernando Ramirez, and that's all that's coming to my mind right now. But I will link stuff down below. If you guys have any other questions about boundaries and protecting your mental health, feel free to leave them down below. I may not be an expert in any of these topics, but I have really pushed myself to master some of these things, and I know what it takes to push yourself to extreme limits. So I definitely think I have great advice for you guys. So please leave comments down below. Leave a like if you like this video. If you have any recommendations of what you would like me to make for you guys for a video, also leave that down below. I'm gonna leave links to my Linktree and my other social media. And yeah, that is a wrap for this video. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye!